Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right with me.
Man, this Doobie Brothers concert fucking rocks. I'm never going to be old like my dad and work at the mill. Cut to 30 years later. I'm a fat fuck with a wife I hate. I run an Enterprise rent-a-car, and I have abandoned hope. And I'm just about to put the trigger in my mouth and feel the cold metal against my tongue. But wait. There's a Doobie Brothers reunion tour this year, and it's only going to cost me $1,200 because it's brought to me by Citibank. This will probably be the divorce I've been asking for. This week on No Accounting for Taste. Reunion tours, artistic sunset, or a cash-in for the war machine.
Pal, you're good with words. You know that, man?
I think the gym is dumb.
Did Rachel walk in the room? Of course I've eaten a Baconator.
Man, if you ain't doing CrossFit, you can get crossed up.
You're right. A long burger's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
That's your sitcom right there as a Mr. Fix-It-All who just can't fix his heart.
We will not be defending Atlantic City.
No accounting for taste. If it's something that somebody loves, let's try and celebrate it instead of shitting on it.
Thank you to our sponsor, Beard Club. Beard Club delivers quality hardware and consumables that help you get a better, thicker, and fuller-looking beard.
Grow your best beard today and take 20% off your first order when you go to beardclub.com/NAFT and use code NAFT. That's beardclub.com/NAFT, code NAFT for 20% off your first order. Welcome, everybody. It's Shane and I reuniting again after a vicious breakup last week. After a much publicized,
salacious,
solicitous
media, page 6 every day breakup of the power duo, Sex and Dynamite.
The When Hell Freezes Over episode of No Accounting for Taste.
This week, reunion tours. How are you, buddy?
Oh man, ready to reunite. I realized there was no meaning to life without this show, without doing this. That's why we had to get over our differences.
Why would you? Yeah,
the cocaine, the stolen wives,
the sour deals where I took 20% extra on the back end that you didn't know about till this moment.
Separate buses to the gigs.
You're still bussing? I fly everywhere now. Replacing you with my son as the bass player, even though he's a guitar player, those kind of things. Yeah. Nepotism. Oh man,
well,
how you doing, pal? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. We're talking about reunion tours, of which we are both part of one.
I guess that is we have a similar personal story. This is interesting. You just did it.
I did. I have yet to do it. Yeah, I have opened for the band Jawbreaker in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and tell the people how it felt, buddy.
Oh man, you know what? Emotional punks from the mid '90s didn't adjust well. Not talking about the band. The audience is a lot of graphic designers wondering what if. No, I think it was fine. I think I opened for Jawbreaker, Jawbox, and Team Dresch. And it was fun. I went on at the beginning. That is an era of music, though, that people, I don't think the sense of humor was there for them. I don't think, it was kind of like the Japanese soldiers stuck in the mountain, and then nobody told them World War II was over. It's like, it's okay to have fun. You could stop cutting yourself for a chuckle a little bit. That might actually be one of the lyrics from Save Your Generation.
I think it is.
But it was a reunion.
It was fun still.
It was fun. I went up early, so there's nobody there. But it was a reunion of a very, very sad. So it was weird to see, because I also went and saw Tesla last year, and Tesla just has rockin' hits from the '80s. And I love Tesla.
This is where we differ as people so much.
But people
we have
were
so
there.
much in common. But you line. Tesla just has rockin' hits from the '80s. Charlie, where were you on a fucking sound effect with that? No.
They are a rockin' band then. They're a rockin' band now, baby.
Baby.
Jeff Keith up there, his pipes are better. I thought his pipes were kind of rough. I saw some video a few years ago. I was a little sad. But they sounded great, and people were there to enjoy They were reliving a moment of celebration with rock concerts. It was weird to go to the Jawbreaker show and people were reliving like, oh man, remember when we were sad and seniors in high school? Let's do that again.
Good songs, though. Good songs, though.
Yeah.
I got a Jawbreaker poster up right there. So, I think there's a lot of like I don't know if they're as controversial as controversial is not the right word, but like as looked down upon as they used to be. But I really feel like a few times when people would come back, everyone would publicly be like, "This is just a fucking cash grab. This is all these people want." Because they basically have fixed the market, or they've price fixed themselves in a sense. Like they control the supply and the demand, I guess.
Well, as always, and we'll get into that, whether it's a cash grab or not. I'm not mad by. I saw Van Halen. I saw Diamond Dave with Van Halen a few years back, and yeah, they're old, but it was a great show. I saw Diamond Dave with Van Halen at the Hollywood Bowl. And I can't time travel. I'm not going to see him in 1984. But I could see him now and cut him some slack for the effort that they're putting forth.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll give you that. And also there is the, like, clearly still the I should have gone factor. Because, we lost another great rock star this past week.
Yeah.
So... there is that's another motivating factor for me when it comes to these things. I'm like, is it going to be bad? And I worried about it a lot. I'm a big Replacements fan. Do you like the Replacements?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. It was like maybe 10 years ago they reunited at Bonnaroo, or not Bonnaroo, at what was the Bumper Shoot in Seattle?
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I went. I was performing, and then I went to go see the Replacements, and Janine Garofalo was literally standing right in front of me at the show, and I was like, this is like what I wanted my life to be like when I was 17.
How were you able to see over Janine Garofalo to watch the Replacements?
And there's a Space Needle in the background. I'm like, I am living it,
Yeah.
Yeah. And they came out, and he was wearing a Batman T-shirt that was way too tight. And he reached for the mic, and he fumbled it, and it fell out of his hand, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna be terrible. And he was like, I'm just fucking with you. And then they just went right into Alex Chilton. It was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah, I mean
they were really great.
That was their rep. I saw a Quiet Riot at a pool hall in Bloomingdale, Illinois, many years ago. Quiet Riot was playing at Shark City Billiards. And
man, that was the only place for that band to end up and start.
This is where all right, I'm going kind of tongue in cheek, but also Quiet Riot. They had some real slammers, real bangers.
He's got some. They have some anthems, and they're fun.
They only have anthems.
Yeah,
that they existed.
Yeah, it's the rest. It's the rest of the album that's the problem.
Yeah, they just had filler, and then I need to win a karate tournament, and then they just had that. The greatest hits is like, what do you need to win today? Put on Quiet Riot's greatest hits and accomplish that goal. So Kevin, not to speak ill of the dead, Kevin Dubrow has since passed on. That guy was like, his hair was falling out in '83. And now I assume one of those big things the roadies have to move is just the heads with the wigs on them. And he chooses which wig to wear. And he had the big one on.
Yeah, and now, it's pretty rad.
Well, and it's like, all right, do you really think you're tricking us? Or are you kind of aware that we are a band from back then? You want to see us as we were. Let's be the animated Madame Tussauds Wax Museum version of ourselves. But this is where I felt bad, is that they were playing
the Walkers.
What's that?
They had walkers or what?
Well, they're like, this one's for the real fans who got our new album, and the place just cleared out and went to the bar. And I felt like, I was like, oh god, that's got to be devastating.
Fuck them.
That's got to be devastating. Well, no, then he's like, fine.
You know they
I'm
had to be really feeling it for him to say that. Like, they were like, we are having the set of our lives.
But then, he's like, fine, we're not playing Come On, Feel the Noise. And Britt's like, fuck you, play Come On, Feel the Noise. He's like, no, you guys suck and don't like our new stuff. And they walked off, and clearly the owner of Shark City or whoever was paying him was like, you guys don't play Come On, Feel the Noise. I'm not paying you. So I saw the most begrudging...
You ain't going to come on, feel your bank account.
Yeah, you're going to come on, feel debt collectors. And I saw the most begrudging performance of Come On, Feel the Noise. The most like, now get wild, wild, wild.
Girl, where have I?
Just fine. I'll sing it, but not the way you want me to.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
That bummed me out. There's got to be a way to, all right, here's a new one at the beginning. Thanks for being with us, but not get mad if people go get beer. When you're known for your music 30 years earlier. Or at that point, 20 years earlier.
I will say this. I know they're probably not a band most people give a shit about. I love them, but Our Lady Peace, I went and saw them with Cole from Sketchfest at the Troubadour. I think I might have talked about this on the podcast. But the singer goes, look, we're going to play all the songs you want to hear. But you have to understand, we got to do some of the new ones for us.
That's all. That would make me go.
And it
you
was
know
pretty
what?
much like that. He was a lot more gracious about it, but it was very much like, "Hey, man, we're gonna do it this way, and we're gonna give you what you want to hear, but we have to do these, otherwise we might go."
And
crazy.
wouldn't that make you more of a fan of the band? Of like, listen, we're aware that you know the hits,
and more willing to listen to the song.
Yeah, and now I want to cheer you on instead of smiting me for not being sorry I didn't pick up the new Quiet Riot record that came out in 2002.
17. Oh my God, I can't believe you went to that show. That would be one time.
I was at a pool hall, one suburb over from me. So I liked it. That's and maybe it's a different topic if we put this into tribute bands.
Ooh, that is maybe that we should note that for a subject. Maybe we should combine.
Because I love a tribute band.
You're not gonna get an argument out of me. That's a good time. As long as you're not taking it seriously.
No, I want him to take it absolutely seriously.
No, you're not expecting it to be that great. You can just have fun. The Observer.
I smoked weed in the bathroom with fake Slash at the sports bar down the street from my parents' house. That's what's fun. Man, it's not real Slash.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
smoking out of a shitty brass bowl with Canadian Slash who's coming through town.
Do you remember at Bridgetown there was a venue called the Mount Tabor Theater?
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to have a mic in the small room, and they would do concerts and stuff in the big room. And we were doing a mic one night, and there were maybe 20 people there, a pretty well-attended show, honestly, for an open mic.
Yeah.
And across the hall was Blackie Lawless from Wasp.
Across the hallway.
Yeah, across the hallway. He had 2 fewer people than us at his show.
Oh, Blackie. Oh, there it is. That's when it comes in.
Oh, man.
That's what it hits.
Okay.
Who's going to get mad at these bands? I'm excited for reunion tours. I'm wholeheartedly already supporting reunions.
I love this. I will say this, too. I think, and we'll get into this a little bit, hopefully, and I don't know where it actually should fit, but, it's good that they take a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, the rap with Bob Dylan now is, if you go see him, he doesn't play any of the songs the way you would want to hear him. He's just tired of playing them after 50 years, so he just, he'll just be like, I had this thought, my friend was like, I'm going to see Bob Dylan, and I was like, he doesn't play the songs, the way he's, them.
Goofs.
And I was just like, and he was just like, what if it's just a metal version, and that's what people don't like? It's a great show, and it's just there's smoke, and it's very Rush driven and stuff.
A lot more pyrotechnics than I remember at a Bob Dylan show.
Yeah, just so fucking. I'll show you. This is fucking. This is what's blowing in the wind.
He had strippers come out for all along the watchtower. It was real strange. We went and saw Rachel and I went and saw Van Morrison, and then I realized, you never value commercial breaks in radio as much as after you see a Van Morrison concert. Like, oh man, an ad for Ron Tonkin Chevrolet would really waken me up between these Van Morrison tunes.
Yeah, he's apparently. I mean,
I think
I
he
love some
fell
of his
asleep
songs,
halfway through the concert.
Isn't he like a legendary lush? He's like a big boozer.
I don't know. We're sitting, you're trying to not look like we're trying to have fun at a concert, but not like it's all adults, and then it's Van Morrison plays
like,
sleepy music.
Yes, he does,
and
it's some of it's very good, but it's like we need a few upbeat ones here to keep the energy going in this room of 2,000 people.
Yeah, a sit down concert. Those aren't fun.
Yeah, I saw. I guess he never really quit, but I saw the 40th anniversary of the Yellow Brick Road tour, or with
Elton John.
And we were like getting emotional. It was a great time. There's nothing but drunk old ladies on gin and tonics, and then like every song is a killer.
Yeah, it's Elton John.
Yeah, it was rad. And then we were like, he was like, all right, this is my last one. And we were all like, what could it possibly be? He's already done everything. Yeah. And then it was just like, ha, Mantenia. And everybody went fucking nuts.
I mean, nobody's ever going to say Elton John does not know how to put on a show.
Yeah. I will say this. Sean looked at him and we were pretty far back. And Sean goes, doesn't look like Elton's missing too many meals. I'll say that much.
Just more to bedazzle.
Oh, man. Yeah.
we went and saw.
We'll tie this into the production budget.
Yeah. That cape's a little smaller in back now. We went and saw the Misfits reunion with Danzig.
I know.
And,
they're playing Riot Fest this year.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're playing or if the Danzig's backing vocal track is playing. But you know what? Maybe we talk about the good and the bad next, and I'll include my personal story in that.
Lovely. All right, everybody. We'll be right back after this commercial break from Remington Steel.
Oh man! Obviously, I've had a beard for at this point 15 years or something. They've got brushes, they got oils, they got a trimmer that's very smooth on the face. I like to keep the upper cheeks clean and over by the ears. I get a lot going on. Shane, how about your grooming?
I got the oils. I love the scented. It's nice. I smell good for the ladies whenever one happens to come around, which is. Maybe it's happening a little more often, and that might be thanks to Beard Club. I also got the Derma Roller, which is something I roll along the side of my face, opens up my follicles a little bit, get a little bit better growth going with it, too. So that's nice.
Better growth. Grow your best beard today and take 20% off your first order when you go to beardclub.com/NAFT and use code NAFT. That's beardclub.com/NAFT, code NAFT for 20% off your first order.
Welcome back to No Accounting for Taste. This is Kyle and I reliving our youth. Yeah.
Kyle and Shane, Z95, Rocket Chicago suburbs.
The only podcast brought to you by the Invasion. You get it. I don't want to go.
Dale's Hot Tubs, 20% off this Labor Day at Dale's Hot Tubs, brought to you Z95. We're going to be in the parking lot with the Rockin' Wagon. With the shaggin' wagon over at Dale's Hot Tubs. Come on down, free stickers, free T-shirts.
Hey, Kyle, stop. I don't want to interrupt, but I got a listener who's going to eat his own shit. We'll be right back.
Whoa, that's worth a bumper sticker.
Oh, man.
That was I grew up in the heyday of rock radio in that era. Like, well, I wouldn't say it's the heyday, but I remember
I know we're talking about reunion tours, and we're about to get into the good to the bad, the good and the bad on No Accounting for Taste this week. What do you think life is like for those radio DJs who were like legit local celebrities in their heyday? now.
That does tie into this. Like, yeah, where do you?
Because there's a culture, like depending on the era, there is a culture around it and a style around it that is kind of interesting to think about.
Well, I feel like the funnel from shock jock to libertarian is a pretty direct route. Because now what do you mean I can't say homo on the air? This is a free speech issue, and then they just run for local office.
It's basically like the white trash version of the school to prison pipeline.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Back when Bang Tango was on the scene, we didn't have a problem with tits around the studio.
You made me listen to them once in the car when we were driving.
Of course I did.
Bang Tango.
I don't even know their songs, but that's the best name to go to for an 80s that's trip band.
Not bad. That's also another shirt we're going to make, the Bang Tango, No Accounting for Taste Bang Tango collab t-shirt.
I don't think Bang Tango's played a lot of reunion shows. I don't think they're back on the streets.
What an incredible amount of anonymity after an incredible amount of success.
Bang Tango. The Bullet Boys. Danger. Danger had a song called Naughty Naughty. Anyway, this is my knowledge. Don't worry about me.
We want to start with the bad or the good today?
Well, I'll say the good. I mean, we're talking about if it's a money grab.
Let's start with the bad. Then.
I think it's only a money grab. If people are willing to pay the price that they're charging, you can only blame the people that are willing to pay it. Because otherwise, that's just like, well, we charge this much, but nobody bought tickets. That's on you. So it's not a money grab because you didn't make any of the money.
It's not that they're not taking a risk by coming back.
Yeah.
I guess that's a real thing.
And if the show's good, if they, get in shape, get their voices back, and the show's good, then, yeah, you're cashing in on people's nostalgia, but you're also giving them a good show for the amount of money that you're charging. Like nobody's going to give a shit about the Rolling Stones if they weren't still a good show.
That's true. Yeah, I bet they still. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, the wheels would have fallen off people by now. So that's a. Yeah, I think you make a good point. Like, if they do the work to get in shape or the shape for the 60-year-old version of themselves.
I'm just seeing now that Charlene sent us the band reunion tours have never been hotter, and it's an article from AARP.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh! I didn't look at I read this and I didn't look at the website. But if you looked, you can see why I got the Doobie Brothers song in the beginning.
Time to hang some leather Harley streamers off your cane.
I do love what it's. I do love what it says right here is what to expect. Michael McDonald is back.
We got a bottleneck on the handicap ramp going to the ground floor, so if you could all just hold on a second.
Oh my God! Yeah, I read. I guess that's a fair. That's a fair thing to say. Like if they're willing to do the job and get the show back to put a real show on, I can go with it. I also I turned 40, and it's freaking me out that I'm no longer young.
Yeah,
quite a bit. Yeah, so I might love the idea of a different reunion tour in 10 years. But
yeah, or did you ever think about this? That music that you're just seeing is 20-some years old, and as much as it's not a reunion tour, I try to put things in perspective. Like, oh boy, this band that I liked when I was 18, that was almost 30 years ago, 26 years ago.
Yeah,
and think about when you were 18. If somebody was like, oh, man, this band still rocks, and they're talking about, I don't even know what band.
Papa Roach, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, but when you're 18 and there's like a 45-year-old be like, what do you mean you don't like fucking Mabel Steamboat and the Mississippi Mudslingers, Well, you don't like jug band
I
music?
guess what it
that
does-
was the rage when I was your age.
It preemptively forces you to look at a mirror of your own mortality. Like
Yeah.
that's what a reunion concert really is. It's just a sad wave into your future if you're not careful.
Well, that's what Rachel was saying. Like, we went to see Tesla, and like she just trusts me. I'm like, I want to go see this band. It's in the parking lot of a casino in rural Oregon, because that's once you're seeing concerts at casinos, you're old. You're just an old person.
It is done. It is done.
And it was a lot of like old bikers and old rockers. That it wasn't. I guess it wasn't sad.
How did they draw?
You know what? It wasn't bad.
Like there was a number of people there that was respectable.
Yeah, there was a good amount of people there, and it was sad in the sense that you might have been seeing somebody who doesn't have a lot of fun anymore relive the old days through seeing the band, which could be sad only because you're thinking about like, oh, you don't do fun stuff anymore.
Yeah, but also like maybe it makes them really happy. And they're like, this is what's getting me through the month, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a good thing about reunion shows is it gives people that little blast from the past to feel young again, and also see other people that are like, hey, thank God you're still out here too. I'm glad the band's here, but then there's people my age that had fun seeing this band, and we're still like, I mean, I constantly think of Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler, but which that goes right back to sad. That goes back to sad.
I was watching that show, Ozarks, whatever. But there's this point where they're trying to get this like
Did you just
convention of
pluralize
people
Ozarks?
they're trying to get this convention of dentists to come to their casino.
Yeah.
And it's like she's like, what's it gonna take to get you guys to come here? And he goes, if you can get the wagon to come, we'll come. And he's talking about REO Speedwagon.
Yes.
And then REO Speedwagon is in the episode, and they play, and they have an amazing sense of humor about themselves about it, and the cameo is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the good is that you give people something they missed.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm going to like, because I think when you lose a band, it's really I don't know if devastating is the right word.
Like they break up or so. You mean like, is that what you mean?
Or like even if someone dies, you know, like one of those kind of things, like when you just know you can't see them anymore.
Yeah.
And your intention always was to see them. So that is the good thing about a reunion tour. It's just the risk is so high.
Well, maybe what if that's a bad thing about reunion tours is that it might be shitty, but the positive is that you should go see the artist that you want to see now and don't wait too long. I'm our mutual friend Monty. Remember back when I started, man. He's like, I went and saw Madonna last week, and I'm like, Madonna? What is? He's like, it's a superstar. I see somebody do a good show, I'll go see Madonna. But the idea that somebody this is what they do best, and maybe it's not at the height of it, but it's still. I mean, this was 20 years ago that he was doing that. Is go see a big concert when it's people that put a show on for a big concert.
Yeah. When you're taking them in for, like, it's a spectacle almost. There's a lot that...
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I like that thought because it's kind of like you know when an athlete is not at their prime anymore and they're like, somebody's like, they still got a little juice in their legs or whatever. And, like, you know, it's like an often, like, plot line for, like, a sports film. And then you're like, yeah, this is why they were great. You see kind of flashes of brilliance. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like, oh, well, they don't sound like this. Yeah, of course, neither do you. Neither does anybody. You do the shit you did 35 years ago. You know? So, yeah, the irony of somebody complaining that their knees hurt to get to a seat at a stadium to watch a concert and then complain about the quality of the concert.
It's a very good one. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
We went and saw the Misfits, and it was pretty hilarious. It was pretty obvious that Glenn Danzig was using a vocal track. But it's the Misfits. It's, you know, devil locks, eye makeup, and we're all the way into cheap seats at the Forum. But I almost got in a fight because there's a guy behind us yelling right when the Misfits start. He was pissed off because we were standing. He wanted to sit in his seat and watch the Misfits. Thousands of old punk rockers, everybody standing because it's the Misfits. And this guy was pissed.
Legendary band who...
But of all the bands, like, oh, hey, we're going to see REO Speedwagon. I could see wanting to sit down for some of that. Maybe we'll stand up for You Could Still Rock in America. But what Misfits don't have any like ballads. Like, let's sit down.
Yeah.
And this guy was, and I kind of thought he was the most punk rock dude ever because he was going to fight over not being able to see the Misfits. Like, he went there thinking everybody would be sitting to watch the Misfits. That's what he went there thinking.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah. Is this the guy Rachel threw a beer on?
Yeah. And then I thought he was going to beat me up.
Tickets, please.
And I thought he was going to kick my ass because she threw a beer on him. He just went, oh, great, now I'm covered in beer, too. And he was just sad. He was so sad that he had to sit wet and listen to the Misfits.
Was there I'm pro reunion tour right now. I got to tell you the way I'm leaning on all of this, I'm loving it. Is there I guess the other thing that you can take from it, and this is not necessarily a positive way to think, but it's a thing I would have fun doing, is like I'm looking forward to going to some reunion tours and seeing people who used to be like sexy punk rock dirty people in now ill-fitting T-shirts and ass cracks hanging out of pants, that kind of stuff. It's a little sad.
The people watching,
but you can have some fun.
The people watching is exceptional.
What's the best thing you saw
at the Misfits?
Yeah,
it was.
I don't care.
I mean, it was just seeing the people who like maybe they're saving it, maybe they're pretty normal from day to day. And they're but like I mean, even the Jawbreaker or whatever. Shows, yeah, you saw a lot of people dusting off their Doc Martens and then regretting it halfway through the show. Like, oh, there's a reason I wear New Balances now. Because my body's old. My body is old.
Yeah, I didn't
push it. Yeah, a devil lock from a receding hairline is something to behold. Because it starts back. It starts back here. It doesn't start at the front. It comes in, and it just you just get it like an Eddie Munster. You don't really get the full hanging down.
I like the idea of thinking like, man, maybe this is how I'll wear my hair from now on. Fucking punk rock forever and fixed a problem.
There was a few mohawks with a deleted scene in the middle at the Jawbreaker show.
Yeah.
So like,
I love it, man. I think I think it's pretty great the more we talk about it.
Yeah.
I do think we should get into the negative side of this, though, this reunion tour.
Let's I don't think there's any negatives to it. I think even if it sucks,
I will say, Charlotte, there was an article, the most disastrous band reunions in music history is what Charlene said this. So I'll say this. What it seems is if it's really bad, most people just get a bad show. But for the bands, it can be fucking horrible. Like there was this this Motown one about the Supremes had a reformation tour, but it was a technicality. The lineup wasn't the original magical 1960s one of Ross, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard. Ballard, fired and replaced by Cindy Birdsong in 1967, died in 1976. Birdsong didn't want to come back, and Wilson turned down the gig because she'd be paid $3 million, significantly less than the $15 to $20 million Diana Ross had been guaranteed. So already creating a lot of problems for themselves. And then this is like the worst part. Some venues could only manage half capacity. A venue in Columbus, Ohio, had 10,000 open seats. If you're playing 100,000, 10,000 is still noticeable. You know, like. Minus, like, that's a fucking chunk.
One out of every what? No, but what venues? Where were they? They weren't playing in 100,000 seat venue.
No, they're playing like. But like my point being, my point is that like, that's such a big number to not. Yeah, like it's gonna like dent the ego of the artist a great deal more than anything else.
I don't like seeing empty seats in a 200 seat comedy club.
Yeah, well,
bummed out. I think okay, if you're going to see a band like the Misfits, like where the press is just him, Glenn, his name's Glenn, screaming about he needs soup before he can perform. I mean, maybe you're like, I spent a lot of money. I want to see a great show, or a shit show, but I don't want to see anything in between.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it phoned in. I want to see a wrestling match of drama, or you guys got it together and really wanted to play these games.
Like you took all this anger and fueled it into a great Olympic torch kind of moment.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking kicks ass. Yeah.
Band members that don't like each other. I want to see some new hair up there. I want to see new wigs.
Yeah, a little bit of a show. There's another sad one, and I'm just going to say what it is.
Okay.
And now the Jackson 4.
What?
Sorry, guys. Is that public domain?
How much are we paying on the sad horns?
But that's kind of like sorry, guys, right? Like you let that go.
What are you thinking? That's just that's a cash grab because who's like or the other one, the Doors. That the Doors got back together. Remember the Doors with Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
They sucked. Now, the one thing
most
overrated
band of all time.
Just a bad college poetry.
Yeah.
Spoken over moody organs. And then we don't have the one guy who was kind of dangerous and showed his dick and got arrested. He's gone. But we still have the organ. Let's come back with that.
God bless Cameron Crowe for the almost famous scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman goes, "At least Iggy Pop had the courage to be a drunk, not like Jim Morrison."
That's kind of, unless they're just so hard up, you don't know what's going on with these. Are they that hard up that any little money they can get from a reunion would be worth it? Or am I being mean to the remaining members of the Doors or the other one listed in this, Information Society? Oh, that reunion didn't go well because people don't even remember the one hit that they had.
What was their hit?
Pure Energy. It was, you think it's EMF. I want to know what you're thinking. Something's on your mind.
Keep going, buddy.
I want to know what you're thinking. Pure Energy. It was a hit from 1988, and that was it. I remember, this is how relevant. I remember I got that tape of Information Society, I believe, because I sent in enough cutouts from Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I got a single of Information Society. Remember when you used to be able to prove your corporate loyalty by sending in UPC stamps? I ate 12 boxes of this cereal. Where's my Information Society single?
Oh, do you remember the Columbia House racket? Send a penny and you get buy 5 CDs.
My mom would throw that out of the house like I brought cocaine home. Get that shit out of my house. You're not messing around with that stuff.
My credit. Yeah. My little brother did it, and he started getting collection bills.
That's why.
Yeah, and to this day, his credit is not great.
Because Columbia, maybe that's the great collapse right now. That's why young people.
They're long haul. They're they played it really long.
Yeah, the Columbia House is the true architect of the Great Reset. They're the ones who ruined everybody's credit, and that's why young people can't pay back these student loans.
And now all you got is a Collective Soul CD.
Collective Soul. That's the one-hit wonder bands coming around and getting pissed. You
got to keep that shit to state fair level.
That's what I'm. Yeah, you know what? You're playing Rib Fest.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I played a college, the Aeronautical College in Clearwater, Florida, or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me, and then the other headliner for their big entertainment weekend was the All American Rejects. And man,
which was
I've never.
They were like 20 some years ago, right?
Yeah, do you know that? You remember like swing, swing, swing by the table saw. My heart is crashed by a former love. I can't. I'm to carry on again. Yeah,
Wow.
things like that.
We're not going to get hit with a licensing fee for that version.
Oh yeah, like you were so goddamn great on the Doobie Brothers tune.
I didn't want to sing it.
We're breaking up. Get back with us next week when we reunite.
Eddie Money played at the Taste of Addison Fest. Eddie
Woof.
Money played 2 blocks away from what do you mean, woof? That's exactly when you want to see Eddie Money. Walking distance from your parents' house. I want to sing 2 tickets to Paradise, and then I want a $7 Uber ride back to passing out in my parents' kitchen.
I guess you're right. I'll give it to you. I can't argue against it. I just hate Eddie Money for some reason, but I guess there's like a kind of a level to it too when you think about it, like because there's one hit wonders and you're like, look, man, you guys get to play Breakfast at Tiffany's once a year at the Iowa State Fair. You know what I mean? Like you get
Deep
that.
cut. I like it. I like that.
Yeah, like that's where you're like because it is true. There's got to be like a level to it. Like, do you remember the band Sponge?
Oh yeah, Sponge had 2 good ones.
Yeah, Wax and Static. There's something automatic. Yeah.
That's Bon Jovi. Whatever. We know Sponge. I know Sponge.
I don't know if you remember this venue, but it was called the Tonic Lounge. It was in Portland. It was like kind of like a dive bar people would hang out at and do shows at. I remember we were doing an open mic there, and then the next night Sponge was hanging. And the first concert I ever went to was like Edge Fest 94.5 Presents, which just a hodgepodge of bands on a main stage. And Sponge was the first band I saw live, and I was like, they're amazing. And then it was just like 20 years later, I was like, for fuck's sake.
But what if Sponge got up there and was like, yeah, we get it. We were part of your life 20 years ago. You were part of our life 20 years ago. We're going to make $1,700 tonight. We'd like it if you bought a shirt. We're going to get to the hits. Just like you said, that Our Lady piece is like,
yeah, and then we're going to go to Seattle and do the working man thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, that's if you could see that the band is still excited to be out playing, regardless of turnout and aware, then all for it. Very pro reunion tour. Get a few bucks doing a thing you enjoy doing, but don't sit up there and piss and moan that you're has-beens.
Yeah.
To the people that are there to see you, that's like a comedy mistake. Oh, there's only these guys here. Yeah, but they're here at the show.
Take note, Richard Lewis.
Yeah, when do you call a comedian that's been well past their prime a reunion tour?
We're too sick to actually give up. We know what's good for us.
Nobody pumps the brakes in comedy.
Yeah.
I'll be relevant forever.
I got to say it, man. I think we have a unanimous. These are good.
Yeah.
The reunion tours are good.
I want to know what kind of crumb bum out there is naysaying a reunion tour.
Well, I'm sure we can find out when we hear from our listeners. We're going to get into the litter box kittens right after this commercial break. Everybody, we're back. We're going to listen to the listeners now. This is No Accounting for Taste. And we're going to hear what you have to think about reunion tours. This feels stilted the way I'm introing this because we were having so much talking before. I don't give a fuck. Let's just hear what you fucking idiots have to say about reunion tours, and it better be positive or I'll put my boot on your neck. First caller.
On the subject of, like, reunion tours and anniversary tours and whatnot, I think if all the members of the band are down, they should. They might as well make some money off of it. But one time I was at a friend's house, and I was high as shit, and there was a Madonna concert on, and it was like Madonna doing new music, and like only new music, and like everyone there in the audience was obviously like Madonna fans from the 80s and 90s and stuff, and they were just kind of like sitting and waiting for their shit to come on. So I think an artist that's been around for a long time like that, they should alternate. They should do it like the Summer and Winter Olympics. Like every 4 years, I'm playing all the old shit that you like, all the stuff that you remember from high school and so on, right? And then every other 4 years, so every 2 years there's a show. Every other 4 years you do the Summer Olympics, and you play the new shit. So your audience gets to choose which one you go to. That's what I think. I think
this
most
guy's
of the people
awesome.
that are going to see these older artists only want to hear that old shit. You know, they want to relive the glory days and whatnot. So they should have an option of which version of the show you get to go see. That's it. Bye.
All right.
Great idea too.
Well, I think a lot of bands will go out like, we're doing this album. You know, we'll play other stuff
Yeah.
like this, and we're going to do this album for these shows.
Which is a great move.
Yeah, I think that. All right, good call.
I have not. Yeah, I like his Winter Olympic, Summer Olympic thing. I do think the Summer Olympics should be the old stuff that put them on the map, though.
Or here's the era that we're doing this era on this tour, and we're doing this era.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Colin. That's shit, man. That's just good. That's a solid think.
Shout out to that guy.
Thinking.
I don't know if we got his name, but he's rad.
Yeah. No comment. Good idea.
Yeah, I concur.
I mean, I think the only reunion tours that really matter are the Kiss reunion tours.
No.
Because they're reliable in every way. Okay, bye.
I mean, Paul Stanley's up there. He might be Cher. You don't know.
Yeah,
Paul Stanley and
I will
Cher
say-
could be the same person.
you're gonna have a time at a Kiss show, even if they sound like shit. Like, it's that their whole identity is spectacle.
Yeah.
So I guess I really got to say, like, I would go see a Kiss show, and I do not like Kiss as a band, but I do a killer Gene Simmons impression.
Was pretty good. I think that Kiss, like, they started the whole, you want to come to a show? We're going to give you a show.
Yeah. It's like I will give them that they're like fuck this, we don't have to be in grungy shitty bars, we can go balls out and
I'm sorry,
do
it's not-
everything we want.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's not all your favorite songs. Do you see how much makeup I'm wearing right now? Look at these boots. What did you want from us? Do you want some real song? Do you want to hear like Lick It Up and Love Gun?
And also, to their credit, when they went on makeup, they was like, this is clearly a bad move. We have to get back to the fucking face painting.
My cousin's like, I'm going to see Kiss at the Odeum, which is just the indoor soccer place in Villa Park. Like, that's how bad unmade up Kiss sold. They're playing the shitty indoor soccer rink. Rink? What's a soccer thing called?
Field.
All
Field,
right.
Kyle.
Indoor soccer field where the kids would just go fight each other. Now, unmade up Kiss. Lick it. Let's put the X and Sex era Kiss is coming around.
Yeah.
Let's put
I
the
will
X
say,
and
I do
Sex.
like-
What does that mean? They got dumber when they took the makeup off.
I will say, I do like something I wasn't expecting is there's a lot of reasons to like these reunion tours outside of just like wanting to hear the music, people watching, a lot of spectacle, you can afford the cocktails now, which is also kind of nice too.
Yeah, I saw the Ramones in 90.
Not being poor at the concert is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw the Ramones in 95, and it was weird to get pushed around by a 40-year-old because they had been listening to the Ramones for 20 years. And now they're at the concert like, goddamn kids don't get it. And I'm like, you're just... I think you got like
we forgot to mention
heart
this.
disease and you're in the pit at 40. All right.
When we went to Riot Fest together in Chicago, and we were like, what kind of tickets should we get? Because, they have the tiered experience stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, you're like, well, we could do the 3-day passes, and that's fine. And then I think it was you that said, I was like, I'm willing to spend a little more. And he goes, and you go, buddy, I'm willing to spend a lot more if it means we have a clean place to shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so like that's also at reunion tours. I think the fact that it's a little calmer, probably at these age groups and some of that kind of stuff, like might be a little, might be a benefit too.
It is, but I'll add to the people watching. You do have, you know, a 53-year-old going, man, I'm gonna drink wine out of the jug, just like I did back in the day, and you see. I saw one lady fell out of a
and then some
porta-potty.
woman's like, "Mom, stop it!"
Dude, this lady fell out of the porta potty at Tesla. Like, fell just through the door on the ground. I was like, oh god. I mean, they got paramedics to her, but old people trying to party. I think somebody had a joke about going to see Springsteen or something, and so you got like Springsteen fans trying to like, yeah, man, I'll take a puff of that doob. And they haven't smoked weed in 30 years and don't realize that now it's just nuclear strength. And just
it's a
the
rocket
medic
fuel.
I forget who the cop like the medic tent is filled with just accountants like, I'm pretty sure I'm having a heart attack. No, you just smoked sativa for the first time in 3 decades. That's what you did. You're not having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Calm
the other.
down, John.
Look at the other 200 CPAs here having heart attacks at the Springsteen show.
Next caller.
Hey guys, this is Milo. I think reunion tours are a mixed bag. I feel like a lot of smaller punk and indie bands that reunite are kind of coming back, and it's sincere, and they kind of get the appreciation and the attention that they never got to begin with from their original run, and they get to share the music with the fans that never got to see them the first time around, or people that just loved them to begin with. Like Jawbreaker. But it feels like some of the bigger bands, stuff like Eagles and Kiss with their millions of farewell tours, even though it's not the same as reunion, it doesn't feel as sincere, and it feels like more of a cash grab. Misfits are my favorite band ever, and it feels like what they're doing is a little bit more of a cash grab than being sincere, especially with all the history those guys have. But kind of a mixed bag. Love you guys. Bye.
All right.
Yeah, I feel all of that was fair criticism. I think I can't argue with any of that, honestly. I think like there's like it is the bigger bands. It's like, how much do you need? I just heard your song on a Citibank commercial.
Yeah, and I think the people criticizing any punk bands like $20. It's like, yeah, because they spent 20 years touring for $5 a show and broke even. So all that punk rock idealism came back to bite everybody in the ass. Where it's like, oh, I still now I have kids and I've made nothing. I kind of got to ask for a few more bucks this time, everybody.
That was Todd Berry had that great joke.
Oh yeah,
about he goes on Fugazi. He goes, they're one of those punk rock bands. They would charge more than $5 a show. One guy in the band's got to be like, hey guys, how about $6?
Yeah.
He goes, I guess $6 times 200 shows a year equals I don't have a roommate when I'm 50.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it capitalism to just want your own apartment?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Is it
I think
capitalism
that's part of,
to get paid for your art and not be in debt.
You can't there is some a fine line. The ideals can be criticized from
We'll
your
defend capitalism on an episode.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But I think if you're going to see the Eagles, like nobody's like breaking like, oh, I gotta go into my laundry quarters to go see the Eagles. Like, you're rich. Everybody at the Eagles show is just fucking rich.
Yeah.
Like,
and you kind of they were destined to be a band for guys who think jeans and a button-down shirt, like they work at a car dealership on Fridays, is a good look. Yeah.
Listen, man, Glenn Fry told me to take it easy 40 years ago, and I've been following that advice ever since.
And now I'm staying at the Margaritaville Hotel, so tell me what I did wrong. Boom.
I invested correctly. Sorry if that's not rock and roll enough for you guys. I
Didn't sell out. I bought in, baby.
I did enough coke to analyze the market correctly.
Thank you. Have fun in your trailer.
Is
there another caller?
Everybody's making good points.
So I think reunion tours are a yes if they are cheap, like very reasonably priced. If they're only playing old music, if you start playing new songs, that's just like not what anyone is here for. We're just here to like relive the glory days for a minute and then go back about our lives. If it's a money grab, I mean, who cares? We're having fun. Let's say it was like $50. It's like you had a night out for $50. You got to see like one of your favorite bands from like an era. So I'm saying yes, as long as they're playing only old songs. It's a reasonable price. And the opener, they should probably have like an opener that's like not as relevant, which will kind of be hard because these people are irrelevant if they're going on a reunion tour. But like someone, I don't know, like closely related, but it's like a D-list group.
Oh yeah, I like that. Like a little pay it forward.
So it's just like maybe they'll recognize a song from this like weird opener, like might have a song or two on the radio. So they kind of feel like connected that way, getting in, and then once it comes back, like once the main act comes on, I think it'll be good as long as they're playing hit after hit. Because as soon as you start playing new music that no one knows, that's when you lose the crowd and it's over. But for $50, I think yes, it's a go. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.
Wow.
I love this. What I really do like is that she's like, they should bring somebody back up with them. Like you're like the Gin Blossoms was sitting around. You're like, we really did have a pretty good time with Better Than Ezra back in the day. Let's give those guys a ring and see if they want to hit the road.
I mean, 2 one-hit wonders means you're going to at least hear 2 songs, for $50. I get it. I think she's a little harsh. What if somebody wants the new stuff? I still think your
the
Our
artists
Lady
want the
Peace-
new stuff.
I think your Our Lady Peace story is the approach it should be. Like, guys, we wrote this. We're proud of it. We need to. We think these songs are good. Bear with us.
We're gonna give you what you want to. It's a little eat your vegetables before I give you dessert.
Yeah, very much so. This lady's like really getting. I mean, really dictating.
Yeah, there were a lot of terms on her checklist, but I do like that she was like, bring somebody along with you.
Yeah, but
that
she's really like she's sitting in the stands. They're doing the thumb up, thumb down like an emperor to the songs.
I don't know if she said that, but that's pretty good.
Calm down, lady. How much? I mean,
yeah, but then the T-shirts are $50 everywhere now, so that's kind of the bummer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing AC/DC, you can just get that shirt at Target anyway.
That's true.
Pre-distressed. All right. Yeah. I mean,
who's next? Sorry, buddy.
That's it. We got it.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it. Let's land it.
Tickets, please.
I think that. I don't know. I guess we didn't. Not really anything negative about it. As long as the band wants to be there and is performing to a level that the ticket costs. If you paid $12 to get in a Rib Fest. And then, and then the
Everclear's allowed to phone it in a little bit.
Yeah, the Oak Ridge boys aren't really tuning their instruments.
Yeah,
but it was for all of
I'm
Rib
with that.
Fest. Yeah, okay, sure, I'll allow it.
Yeah. But if you're paying $200, there better be a goddamn jumbotron and a freak show.
Give me a good show or a good story, but don't just don't let me go home going that was fine. That's the most.
That's what. Give me a good show or give me a good story. Sounds like what a businessman says in a strip club in Tampa while he's on a road trip. Give me a good show or a good story.
Just don't be Just don't be forgettable. Just don't be forgettable. That's all I ask these bands.
Yeah, that's a reasonable request because you already were forgettable. That's why you're doing this goddamn tour.
Oh God, man! Modern who's saying "Don't you forget about me"?
Don't
is that,
you?
Is that modern English?
I think so.
Psychedelic
Furs.
Wonder if there's a little sting to singing that one on a reunion, on an 80s, all 80s show. Or if they're playing around like, hey, we sang it back then. Looks like you didn't. Here it is again, everybody. Simple Minds.
Yeah, well, we guessed 2 other bands of the same ilk. So I guess
so they're still they're still doing it. Well, that's my take towards it. I think reunion tours, get out.
Yeah,
there.
they're getting a thumbs up from me.
And go see them, everybody.
Yeah. I am considering flying to Pittsburgh to go see the Afghan Wigs in May because their New York show sold out. And I don't think it's a reunion tour, but they're up there, and I'm a big fan. Also, I'm having deja vu.
People are horny for that Greg Dooley.
Everybody, this has been No Accounting for Taste. Join us next week when we talk about how people are horny for that Greg Dooley. I'm Shane Torres.
And
he's Kyle Kinane. ShaneIsAComedian.com, KyleKinane.com. And thanks, as always, to the amazing Charlene Conley for producing this show and getting this turd to be able to flush down the toilet.
Whoa.